What if AfD gets elected in Germany in 2025? What would happen if one of Germany's most controversial political forces, the Alternative for Deutschland, AfD, secured victory in the 2025 elections? How would this impact Germany, the European Union, and the global political stage? This thought-provoking scenario is one worth exploring and perhaps debating. Stay with us as we delve into the potential consequences of an AfD-led Germany. Whether you view this as an opportunity for change or a recipe for disaster, it's time to take a closer look and imagine the possibilities. To understand the potential impact of an AfD election win, we first need to establish what this party represents. The Alternative for Deutschland emerged in 2013, initially focusing on Euroscepticism and opposing German bailouts for struggling EU economies. Over time, its platform has shifted further to the right, emphasizing nationalism, stricter immigration policies, and a focus on protecting what it terms traditional German values. AfD's rhetoric often appeals to those frustrated by globalization, EU bureaucracy, and Germany's progressive policies on immigration and social issues. With support growing in parts of Germany, particularly in the East, it is clear that the party has tapped into a segment of the electorate that feels left behind or unheard by traditional political factions. But how could this translate into a government in 2025? For AfD to win, conditions such as economic hardships, immigration crises, or public dissatisfaction with centrist parties would likely need to align. This context sets the stage for a hypothetical but increasingly relevant scenario. If AfD were to take power, Germany's domestic landscape would likely undergo significant changes. One of the most immediate areas of impact would be immigration policy. For its supporters, this approach may address concerns around national identity and security. For opponents, however, these measures could undermine Germany's commitment to humanitarian values and create tensions within the country. Socially, there is potential for increased polarization. Under an AfD-led government, policies promoting traditional values could create divisions within Germany's multicultural society, sparking debates over cultural identity and the role of minorities. Combined with their controversial rhetoric, this could lead to protests, civil unrest, and a further deepening of fault lines between the left and right. Economically, AfD policies might lean toward reducing Germany's financial commitments to international institutions, especially the EU. While some may welcome an inward-focused approach, others could view it as risky, as Germany's economy greatly benefits from its strong interconnection within the global market. A policy shift of this magnitude could even weaken investor confidence in Europe's largest economy. Germany has long been the backbone of the European Union, not just as its largest economy, but as a key player in driving integration and stability. So, what happens to the EU if AfD is at the helm? AfD's stance on the European Union has often been critical, with its leaders expressing skepticism about EU integration and Germany's financial contributions to the bloc. An AfD-led government could push for policies that reduce Germany's dominant role in the EU, potentially scaling back monetary and fiscal commitments. They might even consider extreme measures like calling for referendums on EU membership or participation in the Eurozone, echoing sentiments seen during Brexit in the UK. Such moves could seriously strain the EU's cohesion. Smaller member states, reliant on Germany's leadership and contributions, may find themselves in a precarious position. Could this lead to a fundamentally divided or weakened European Union? On the other hand, proponents of AfD's approach might argue that a more self-interested Germany could trigger much-needed reforms within the EU. With calls for reduced bureaucracy and re-evaluating overly centralized decision-making, the party's critics also need to consider whether AfD policies might highlight inefficiencies that the EU has neglected to address. Beyond Europe, an AfD-led Germany could signal significant shifts in foreign policy. Historically, Germany has acted as a steadying force in global diplomacy, maintaining strong relationships within NATO and championing multilateral solutions to global problems. An AfD victory, however, could challenge this status quo. The party's nationalist stance might lead Germany to prioritize national interests over collective defense agreements or contributions to institutions like NATO. This could strain alliances with key partners such as the United States and France. Furthermore, any retreat from global cooperation on critical issues, such as climate change, humanitarian aid, or conflict mediation, could create a void in international leadership that might not be easily filled. In terms of trade, Germany's existing ties with global partners could face uncertainty. AfD policies favoring national industrial interests might complicate the country's relationships with trading blocs and individual nations. Would Germany risk isolating itself economically in an interconnected global economy? Now that we've explored the likely changes, let's critically examine the pros and cons of an AfD-led Germany in 2025. National sovereignty and control. AfD policies could provide Germany with greater autonomy over its decision-making, particularly on issues like immigration and economic contributions to global institutions. Focused domestic policies. With a stronger emphasis on addressing local concerns, such a shift could benefit segments of the German population that feel neglected under current governance. Highlighting EU reform. Needs. AfD's critique of the EU might pressure the bloc to confront inefficiencies and create a more balanced relationship between member states. Political and social polarization. AfD's divisive rhetoric and nationalist policies could deepen societal divisions and potentially lead to unrest or confrontation. EU disruption. Weakening Germany's role in the EU could destabilize the bloc as a whole, eroding its ability to address regional and global challenges effectively. Global isolation. AfD's inward-focused policies may harm Germany's reputation as a leader on the international stage, reducing its diplomatic and economic influence. So, where does all this leave us? An AfD victory in 2025 would undoubtedly mark a turning point, not just for Germany, but also for Europe and the world. For its supporters, it may represent a chance to assert national sovereignty and address local concerns. For its opponents, it could be a step backward, endangering decades of progress in unity, cooperation, and social cohesion. Ultimately, this scenario raises pressing questions. Could an AfD-led government address the frustrations of its base without alienating the rest of the population? Would Germany's withdrawal from European leadership inspire reform or irreparable damage to the EU? And how would the global community respond to a shifting Germany in an increasingly interconnected world? Now over to you. What are your thoughts? Would an AfD-led Germany be an opportunity for change or a dangerous gamble for the country and the EU? Do you see any hidden advantages or risks we might have overlooked? Let us know in the comments below. Your opinions are what make this discussion worthwhile. And if you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more thought-provoking content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.